Welcome back to a cold and wintry new Tynemouth. It is the winter of year 12 in our burgeoning colony. Not too much going on in terms of dire necessities. We've got a lot of food stored, a lot of general goods stored, and we're working towards getting some of the bigger ticket items built. Specifically the items we'll need for colonial houses here. Someone also had a really great idea on the comments of one of the Banished videos that we possibly turn the outer row housing into fancy country homes, which I think is a pretty cool idea. And maybe what I might do, and it would kind of defeat the purpose because I think they wanted me to do it in a way that would, not force me to destroy anything, but I almost want to make the road a little bit wider, like too wide between at least the colonial side and the wooden and the fancy country homes. We might try some just to see what they're like. So we'll leave those down the road because those are also going to need a lot of these advanced kind of supplies. But I believe at this point we are making building supplies and homeware supplies. We've got pottery and we've got furniture. So we're slowly but surely pumping these bad boys out. We're going to have a lot of these colonial houses start popping up. I probably will trash some wooden houses. Oops. We're going to trash some of those wooden houses down the road, but this is just going to be a slow and steady expansion, I think, at this point. I really would love to figure out what the heck happened to our poor llamas, though, for real. I really miss our llamas. Poor llamas. So here's our potter. They have a dedicated shore house that's digging clay for them. What are we doing in our workers? We were 3 and 2 laborers to builders. We did start some of our fancy town hall area. We don't have any nomads who are waiting for us to let them in. 70% of our population is educated. We are working with, let's see, look at the graph for population, maybe. We've got adults and students and things like that. So we can see a couple deaths there. Now, I'm just really worried. I really want to make sure that we still have enough students and children, basically, because we have to make sure we are supplying to replacing those that are dying of old age. So we need to make sure we're on top of that, and that just means continual expansion. Hopefully, with the fact that we're finally getting some of these advanced buildings done. Oh, are we out of we're out of bricks, it looks like. Is bricks going to be the big one that holds us back? What's our brick maker doing up to these days? Clay and fuel. I mean, you pretty much have what you need. You're probably going to have to do a run for clay every so often. Oh, that might be the delay is the clay issue. Clay is pretty far. Wonder if our market is actually getting and pulling as much as it should be. There's some... Where do we actually drop off the clay at? That's a good question. Wow, we have a lot of food that hasn't been picked up. And to be fair, I'd not really paid attention to how many people were working the market. It might make more sense now to start increasing the amount of people we have at the market, because we have a lot of goods that need to be pulled to the center because other services or other industries are requiring them. So, for example, we need clay to be pulled in from the river in order for the brick maker to work on that. So that might be something we need to focus on a bit more. Let's see, we also finished the frontage road here, or we need to finish the frontage road for all of the mines. So let's go ahead and grab the road tool. It's a pretty straightforward road there, okay? So let's give ourselves a road out to the mine. Not really for anything in particular to help us with speed or anything. It's just mostly to help me indicate where all of the services are here. We've got mining. I think people do actually take a road if it's faster. So this should help them on their way. No one's working this mine at the moment. Do we have one miner? Yeah, so one miner switched over to copper. Why don't we actually turn this off and have that person work the precious mine? So we'll have them work on that for a bit. We'll see what kind of goods show up from that. We've got silver. We got a little bit of silver. That's nice. We're getting there. We're slowly but surely getting there. I'm going to speed things up for a bit. Now, I've been thinking about how to proceed with the Let's Play, and I think this is a good point to kind of pull you all and take a survey of your ideas. For advancing a game like this, now, Banished is kind of a slowly but steady kind of game where you're slowly expanding, and you're just gradually, you keep going as you go. Now, after the initial bout of getting ourselves set, a lot of this is going to just be expanding for a bit until we get the town center up and running. Now, this is just a particular design. A lot of people do a decentralized style of gameplay, which is absolutely fine, and it works really well. But I think in the upcoming next episodes, I might go ahead and give at least a couple of years between each episode, and then that way, once we come back to the Let's Play, we'll have something to talk about. We'll be able to say, oh, well, we've, this last couple of years we've opened up a bakery, or we dropped down a crop field, or we're having to deal with a certain problem. And then just maybe have a more natural pace to the game instead of always waiting for something to be done. I'm excited that it looks like our first Colonial tunnel house is finished. Where do they get inside their house at? They just warp up, I think is what it is. Oh, I think I see the doorway. Well, that's pretty cool. They actually managed to include the door in there. The doorway is inside the tunnel. What a cute little house. I love the way this looks. I really, really do. I think it's going to look pretty nice down the road once we have everything actually built up and we start to make the center area more livable and more enjoyable. I think it's going to look really, really nice. We haven't had too many deaths lately, which is good. I still am worried, of course, like I mentioned, with the fact that I think we're going to lose a lot of adults relatively soon. But, that's part of the game. That's part of learning the most efficient way to do things. We are getting a steady supply of bricks, though I think... I mean, to be fair, I guess the amount that we're getting... Look at that. We actually have enough homewares for almost all these houses. It's only, it's all these 30 bricks, 18 lumber per one item, per one homewares or per one building supply. So it's not like it's too much. I think it's a pretty decent balance. You've got bronze, canteens, and a musket. I don't honestly know what we need a musket for, or if that's anything at all. Do we actually have to defend ourselves? I don't think we do. Let's look at the job tree real quick. Is there a job for soldiering? There is a job for soldiers. Performs military duties in front line and forward positions. Oh gosh, is there something to this game that I've not even expected yet? Like, are we going to get invaded anytime soon? It's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's just for the maps that include the native, because there's some that include a native population. That might be a fun Let's Play too, is trying to do it, using the knowledge we've gained from this Let's Play, and then trying to make sure that we survive any kind of native uprisings or anything like that. Do we need anything particular? We've got copper ore here. I don't know if we need a ton of it, though. I think we need more iron and tin rather than anything else. Let's go ahead and grab the... let's finish off the tin mine. Because I think some of our wares over here needed that. What else can we do for building supplies? So, glass and iron, joist, logs, and brick. Who can make a joist? Isn't there the joiner here? That's not the same as making a joist. Alright, let's check out some of these other buildings and see what they have to offer. Let's slow things down a bit while we explore. So the blacksmith is still the blacksmith. There was the city blacksmith, so this is the country smithy, the large smithy. This is what? They offer the same options. Okay, what about the city blacksmith, though? A huge shop with up to 2 blacksmiths built with the size and stocked with the equipment necessary to make many kinds of tools and produce muskets in defense of the colony. We can make this now, so maybe we should include this just to see what options it brings us. We can put this on our dirty road. This is kind of our heavy industry road here. We'll tuck this right in. I'm starting to feel like maybe we should have given all these roads too wide, but, it's okay. No big deal. I'm real fickle about the roads. Like, it doesn't even really matter. The funny part is, I don't think we've ever finished... Or is this... Did I choose a separate road here? Oh, did I actually click the wrong thing? That's funny. Hang on, let's see if we can remove this. Oh, I did. At some point along the way, I totally put the wrong roads down. I was wondering, I thought that this was just like a road that needed to be built. And I was like, oh, well, they're still working on it. No, this is like a mud road as opposed to whatever the other type of plaza road it is. What other kind of roads do we have? We have country road, dirt road, gravel, soil road. Stone might be kind of interesting. I'm curious to see how that looks. Just for fun, let's try... Ooh, that looks really nice, actually. It's so pretty. Let's do like a central... kind of a central location where it's all stone roads here. And we'll see how that looks and if we want to extend it further. That's really cool. That looks really nice. We can even have a drawbridge. That's pretty fancy. We can't really see a preview of it. We'll make sure we kill these jobs. I don't want to make them sit there and build all this stuff forever. A lot of these things from Colonial Charter I've not even found before, so I've never seen half the things in here. So a lot of this is new for me too. Let's see, our standard orchard is still having to... This is pause. Let's actually stop or resume the other... I think this is a crop field or orchard. This is another crop field. Let's resume that because we are a little bit under in terms of our food, although 2 of our crop fields are about to pop, so that should help us out quite a bit. Both of our pastures, of course, are sad and depressing because they're missing animals. The city blacksmith is going to go in. What other types of buildings do we want to talk about? We were talking about what... Hey, look, one of our other buildings is done. That's so cool. This is going to look really nice, I think, once we get done with it. Now, I'd like to move into, at some point, I'd like to look also at the really nice homes, the larger style of the colonial houses, because these can include a barber or a bread and breakfast inside of them. They just happen to need the fancier type of building supplies, I think. So we could do something like this, fancy homewares, for example. We could also include, like, if the measurement doesn't work out right for the corner, we could include a gap or something and make, like, a small connecting road, like an alleyway. That would make sense, too. None of these don't always have to be, you know, completely solid wall-to-wall. It would make sense to have some alleys here and there. So which one is holding us up? We've got homewares, building supplies. So building supplies seem to be the big problem. Fancy homewares, of course, we're missing out on those. We don't have pewterware or silverware. I think we were trying to find out last episode what can possibly make pewterware. And I'm not sure if we ever found the answer to that. This is crafting. This creates furniture. Glassworks makes sense. This is for barrels. Why don't we actually drop a glasswork... Hang on, what did this need? This needed something that I don't think I've seen the icon for. It needs sand, which we should be able to get from our shore house. That's fine. So why don't we put the next building, which was the glassworks. Let's put the glassworks relatively close to the rest of the industry area over here. You know what? I want to do something else. I want to cancel this. All the resources are still there, so it's not like we lost anything. Let's put down the city blacksmith a little bit farther back so that we actually can fit this two-wide road in. I think I had planned for a two-wide road, so that makes sense. And then we'll put down a glassworks somewhere over here. Ooh, this is a pretty big building. Okay, that looks good. We'll change one of these types of shore houses to dig sand for a bit. So that should all be contributing to the same... to the same thing. So we're all you know, we still have clay in one area, but we've got sand now, so they're all kind of, you know, contributing to construction or the raw resources. Oh, sorry, did I actually build something wrong? I built the ropery instead. We don't want the ropery. Disregard. We want the glass works. My fault. I got excited with my my clicks, I think. How am I missing the ropery? Is it so awkwardly spaced that I have to... Okay, it had a really weird position to it. Alright, let's find that again. Crafting glassworks. There we go. Much different style of building. Okay, so we're going to put down the glassworks. That could be something that we use for our place. We do... Don't we have a potter? I thought I put a potter in here. Yeah, we have to have a potter because we are making pottery, right? There's the tailor. Where did I stick the potter? Oh, they're all the way over here. That's right. We put them right next to the shore house so they can have access to clay right next door. Cool. So they're pumping out clay for us and pottery. We also have... What else can we try to find? The joinery, I don't know where that's at. The pewterware thing, I don't know where that's at either. Gem cutters wouldn't be it. Gold gilder or silver fenning. Doesn't seem like they'd be the option either. Metalsmith, I think, might be... Oh, here it is, right here. Metalware. Right there under the description. Pewterware and silverware. Cool. So that also needs building supplies. So we'll put that down in the same area. I do like having everything kind of crafting-wise in the same spot. It would be kind of cool if Banished wound up having almost like a pollution modifier, where you just started seeing, you know, you really started seeing the impact of your nasty, dirty industry around. We really need to find another way to make building supplies, because this is currently our big bottleneck. Furniture we're good on. Pottery we're a little bit behind on, but a lot of these buildings already have their homewares all set and ready to go. What else can we possibly do here? We don't know who makes a joist. We just put down the building that can make glass. And I think we put down the building that can make the copper pipe, possibly. So maybe just fewer bricks would be better for us, because we're really bottlenecked in brick making, I think. Now again, there's plenty of other ways to play the game. There's lots of different styles for, you know, central versus decentralization. So I'm curious if you guys have ideas, if you've seen really great builds. I'd love to see your opinions. There's nothing that says we can't adjust what we're doing if something isn't working out. And I don't want to stick to something just because I like it. And I want to make it work. If it doesn't work, then we're definitely going to find a better way to go about it. For the moment, though, I think we're doing okay in terms of getting everything pulled in. My only fear is that there's not enough workers in the central market to go out and grab all the goods we need. Like, this is constantly full. It would make sense that the food cellar is full of fish, though. It's right next door. So that would make sense. Normally, I judge the performance of the central market by how full the barns are. Because that's where a lot of your goods come in. You know, they'll come in from the outer section and they'll come into your barn. So that kind of gives you a feel for where things are. We're almost finished with our tin ore mine shaft. Our metalsmith is awaiting a building supplies. The city blacksmith is waiting building supplies. And the glassworks is just awaiting sand. Yeah, that's just the problem, is everything is so far away. Let's see what happens to sand. I think that is the problem, is that it's coming from so far away that there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Let's see what happens when they get something. There's a bucket of sand. Okay, so where are you taking said bucket? You've got the sand in your inventory, right? You do. You've got 7 sand. That's all we're getting right at this point. What do you go do with it? One of our fisher persons has died. You still have the sand. You're just going to carry around the sand forever. Alright. So she's dropping off the sand directly to the market itself. That's just, it's weird to me. Now, I kind of understand it because they're going home to get something to eat. So they needed to eat, so they're heading home to grab that. It's just a little bit strange that they wouldn't drop it off somewhere like the small barn first. Oh, but is sand maybe not a resource you can drop off? I have no idea. Would it be considered a resource for back here on the stockpile, maybe? That's a thought I had not previously considered. Raw materials, sand, clay, and hardwood. Well, there's our answer. I guess we could have it stretch across the road here. Let's try this. Oh, it doesn't like that? Alright, we'll put one on either side. We'll see if that helps out. That way our people aren't having to walk. Again, you want to cut down on how far your workers, your people who are like the raw material producer, you don't want them going all the way into the city. You want them dropping something else off much closer. And actually it looks like it immediately is helping out. And then someone's going out to grab that resource, which was this person a market worker? Or you're the kiln man. Okay, so you're the guy who actually would need this resource. So yeah, I guess that is going to help out a little bit. Cool. Okay, so hopefully we've got that figured out a bit. What else is going on? We've got somebody working the tin ore thing. That's cool. Let's do that. We'll get tin ore. Can we smelt that into... This is only a small iron smelter. I'll tell you what would we need to upgrade the smelter to the next size building? Is it an option? No, we'd have to rebuild it. Because it's physically bigger, I think. So, small iron smelter. Creates iron from iron ore. Also creates tin, bronze, and all that stuff. Okay. Oh, there's the joist under the forge. Okay, what do we need for the forge? Just materials that we already have. Let's put the forge at the end of the walkway, or alternatively, we can put it here so it's a little bit closer. Let's do this. Let's make it kind of a small, you know, it's only down 1 turn. We're going to do that, and then I'm going to actually destroy the small iron smelter. That's going to free someone up, because at this point we don't need any more iron. We're maxed out on... We've been producing our iron from iron ore into iron for a long time. So we'll get the forge in place. That's going to let us make joists. So hopefully we should have more options for our building supplies. You can't make any fancy homewares yet either because you don't have pewterware or fancy furniture. How much furniture do we have? Can I look that up? You don't have a job. What was your job beforehand? I'm going to have to actually find her job, and because I think it was this... Oh, here we go. I can just do this. That should fix her job up. Uh-oh. Maybe not. You're a blacksmith. Well, I think I told you to not be a blacksmith anymore, though. Eventually, that job's going to come back up again, so it's not too big of a deal. We're still short on clay over here. Is there any better spot for clay? Not really. I could have a shore over here, but that's going to make someone have to walk really, really far for no particular reason. No one's working this field. We'll add 4 people to the farming job, 1 for each field, and, well, 1 for each field, 1 for the orchard. Just trying to stay ahead of the curve. As we start expanding and getting more houses out here, I really want to make sure that we are staying ahead of the game and giving our people somewhere to live and expand and have children before we get trapped and, you know, we're like, oh god, everyone's dying and we have no kids to replace them. Alright, let's drop down one of these left-right houses. Which way did I do this last time? Shoot. So to the right was the right. Okay, that makes sense. So Colonial half house right is going to be to the right of the central pillar thing. And we'll do one to the left as well. We'll keep expanding each of these sides out. Why are you just can't not be a blacksmith apparently. That's fine. You'll just enjoy yourself. Are we okay on firewood? We have 1,000 firewood, so that's a great sign. We have tons of logs. That's not really a problem. Stone's actually becoming a little bit scarce. We could probably do a manual collect stone job. In fact, let's do just like a collect everything kind of a job to clear out that pile. And that's the only pile that's relatively close by. There's some stone gathered here and there, or just deposited here and there, so we'll have them clean that up. You don't think I've seen anyone actually sick or in as a patient at the hospital? I mean, probably for the best, honestly, right? That would make sense. Oh, one thing I haven't checked. Okay, we don't have the maximum number of students. You got to keep an eye on that every so often to make sure you're not getting overwhelmed in your school, and your teachers aren't able to have everyone in the school itself. All right, I'm going to speed things up for a bit. I think I'll actually skip ahead in the video, and we'll come back once a lot of our new fancy metal industry is up and running. Okay, so we've had a couple people pass away, and I'm curious about maybe starting to develop an area for a pretty large chapel somewhere down the road. So I think we'd mentioned that this, this extension here was going to be almost like a government/civic area. And so why don't we look at maybe having a much bigger church. Now, I'm not going to probably build it right now, but I want to get an idea for the spacing. So for like a central church, surprisingly, only needs lumber and stone, which is kind of cool. We also have the older church, which I think looks really cool. Like a medieval type church. Yeah, so I think let's plan for like the central church here. I like the look of it, and what I want to do is probably have something like this. We'll tuck it against the road, and we'll pause, or we can build it, either one. But what I'd rather, and really, people are going to be using the church on the center of the city anyways, but I like the look of it. And we can also put down a gated cemetery, and that's going to probably become more useful because people want to visit their loved ones. So we can press R to rotate where the gate is coming up. What bugs me to no end is like you can't get it symmetrical, right? So there's 4 tiles from the right edge, and there's 5 tiles from the left. Oh my gosh, it never fails to make me crazy. Oh, there we go. Is that it? Do I have to just have a massive cemetery? Or we could have the cemetery across from the church like this. Do we want to make it like a pretty huge city cemetery? What's the biggest we can do? 20 by 20 probably? 76 iron. You know what? This will be our nice permanent cemetery. We'll put some nice trappings around that. Let's cancel this. I want to adjust it down a couple notches because I want to have a pretty big road in front of it. Alright, so we'll put the church back down. You know what? We'll build the church later on. Let's get the cemetery in place because we actually do need to bury some people and have somewhere for other family members to pay their respects and things like that. Meanwhile, we're a little bit stymied on our buildings that are getting built because we were needing building supplies, but at least the city blacksmith and the forge are finally done, so they're coming up. All they need now is the builder's attention. Where did that glasswork sneak off to? Here it is. Yeah, we're really just short on builders. So I'm going to bump the builder queue up a bit. This person still really wants to be a blacksmith and has nowhere to practice their profession. That's a bummer. I'm trying to clean up the roads too, so we've got less, you know, roads that are just 1s and 2s, and we actually finish all the roads the way we want them. There we go. Our big blacksmith just came into play, and that person who didn't have a job has now made their way back over. We could do... Oh, is this all this has? The city blacksmith, rough tools, steel tools, log iron, and coal. That might be a nice upgrade for everyone to start working on those. What about a coal mine? Let's go ahead and finish our iron mine. And I think that wouldn't be a bad idea to start having. Where's the tin ore? Haven't we pulled... Okay, there it is right there. It's the one that's right across from the mine. That makes sense. Yeah, maybe we'll start producing steel tools. That'd be kind of cool. A bit of an upgrade for what everyone has right now. Who was making our other stuff? Was this the normal blacksmith? Yeah, just the normal blacksmith. We could probably trash that at some point down the road too, if we wanted to, if we needed to. The glassworks is going up. The forge is going up. Wonderful. Some of our colonial half houses have gone up as well. I think you can get a feel for how your population is in terms of, I guess, what's the average age of people who want to move into their own home. When you first build a house and you start seeing people move in, if they're around like 18 to 20, I think that'd be a good age, right? Someone here moved in 56 and 22. It doesn't always make sense, and it doesn't always have to be a pairing. I'm not really sure how the calculations work, but generally speaking, people need privacy in order to reproduce and have the babies. So we'll keep pushing houses out. Really, the big holdup right now is this, we're waiting for this 30 bricks. But now I think I can do something like this. We can switch over to glass, brick, and log. And now that we've got a glassworks ready to go, I can start making glass from sand. Oh, that's a bummer. It's going to need 23 sand. Do we have a lot of sand built up? 28. It's not really all centralized at all. But we have 93 in the city blacksmith, or sorry, the city market. So that's pretty good. That means that at least the glassworks should be able to pump out 5 or 6 units of glass. Oh, damn it. 6 glass per one. Eh. I think it's meant to be difficult, honestly. At some point down the road, once I have a better feel for where we're at, I think I might try to revisit our workflows and just see where, you know, what's not efficient, what is efficient. Maybe we could redo some of our pathing and building locations to make things a little more efficient. Like, you know, I've got all these different stockpiles. Honestly, let's go ahead and kill one of these. This was actually our starting barn and stockpile. So let's go ahead and trash these two. I don't think we're going to need this barn anymore since it's right next to the central market. We still have the central stockpile, though, which is being used for, I think, things that won't go into the big market. How is this thing turning out? Is this being useful? It seems like it. You know what I like? I think that when someone delivers something, they can deliver it to one end of the stockpile, and it appears at the other end. So the workers, I think, that are coming from the central market just have to stop at the corner and pick it up. I mean, that's not a huge, far place to walk, but it does reduce some steps. Maybe there's a trick to that. Like, what if we made our stockpile all the way from here to here? Would they place it here and it warps over to here, and then our market person only has to walk next door? Could be something worth talking about. If you're looking for maximum efficiency, obviously that looks super funky, but if you're just looking for prime efficiency, then maybe that's the way to go. A bunch of our crops are dying off, but we do have over 5,000 food again for this winter. Every winter I've started going back and kind of looking at where our stocks are, just to make sure we're not coming down on anything. For example, it looks like we're actually a little bit low on clothing. So that might be, let's see, what's our tailor up to? You're short on leather is what it's telling me, right? Now we could also make, let's see, wool. We might have enough. Hey, we've had a shepherd for a while, right? So we've got 2 domesticated animals there. I thought we had some more domesticated animals spread around. I hope they've not been dying randomly. Let's put down a... What was it? Let's go into the food. I think... Where'd it go? Here it is. Animal pens. Let's put down a wool pen. We're going to put down a wool pen here back behind the row of houses. I'm going to put down a couple. And maybe as our shepherd goes out and tries to get animals, domesticated animals, they'll start getting put into these types of buildings, and then we'll be able to use them for their wool. Once we do that, we can kind of upgrade, and instead of making hide coats, we can move up to wool coats or something like that. Cloth, linen, reeds, and feathers. Do we have any of those? We don't have reeds. We could gather reeds from the river. I think for cloth and linen, we would actually have to have a weavery. Maybe. Let's see. What would we need for that? Clothing. There's a tailoring company. Interesting. Seamstress Guild. Linen, cloth, and silk out of flax, cotton, and silkworms. The only thing we could start out with those is the silkworm. We could have a silkworm farm. I don't know if you need silkworms to start that. I think you do. Let's look over at raw materials. Where's that going to be under? Raw production here? Yeah, we would need actual silkworms, I think, to start that. What is this wanting us to be in the water at all, or no? Oh, there was something in the way there. Silkworm eggs, yeah, so we're going to have to buy those from a trader at some point. We probably need to be producing an end trade good for the city at some point. Let's go ahead and set the blacksmith to be destroyed, since we have a bigger blacksmith now, the city blacksmith. Oh, hey, the forge is done. Awesome. We don't need iron ore. Why don't we pause this for just a second? We could work on getting joists. Ooh, joists are 20 iron and 6 coal. We're producing coal from the coal mine right now. In fact, I could probably assign someone over to it from the labor pool. And as a building supply, we could use that for... Isn't there one with joist? 12 bricks, 1 joist, 5 stone. 12 brick, 1 joist, 20 log. Let's try that out for a bit and see how that performs with joist, with doing 20... Because we have a ton of iron ready to go. We could burn through that supply. Add 1 person to this. Keep making the steel tools. Hopefully we've got enough built up. Now, I'm a little worried that I lose track of where we're at on the steel production. And then we wind up, you know, being under in terms of our tools. Yeah, the bricks works is just really struggling to make bricks at this point. You still need 12 bricks, but that's half of what we really need at this point. We get 13 or 12... How many bricks is it? 12 bricks per? Population still hovering right around 60, so even though we have people who are dying, we are having people replace them, which is a huge plus. Let's go ahead and unpause these other buildings. Try to get those building supplies in place. Do we have any building supplies lying around? Probably not. I think we're still waiting on some for something, right? Yeah, the metalsmith needs one. Alright. Well, I think that's a good time to call it a break for this episode. We'll come back next episode to... I think I'm going to let things roll for about a year or two and just see where we wind up after some time has passed. So let the glassworks and the forge start making a dent in our building supplier chain. I probably should relocate the building supplier, though, onto this side, right? Because we're needing basically bricks, joists, and logs, and we can pull logs from over here since everything else is closer. Who knows? I guess it doesn't really matter in the long run. It's only like walking from here up to here. But just a thought. Hey, our graveyard is almost finished. Nice. It's off-center, which is going to just make me twinge just a bit, but that's okay. We have a nice full graveyard, which I think every city truly needs. Thank you all for joining me for this episode of Banished and the city of New Tynemouth in our 15th year. I do look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, take care.